start to record. So, all right, guys. So sorry about that, man. For whatever reason, my internet was acting up. So if you missed what I was saying earlier, I had shown you guys what I think for Bitcoin. This is where I have my resistance. I believe that we are generally in a downward trend. However, what I'm waiting for is this. I'm waiting for this, my green support trend line to be broken downward before I confirm that I am in a sell. None of us set these rules for trading. So you just want to wait for your own confirmations, you want to wait for your rules. That is the only way you can set up an advantage in this market. So for now, I'm looking at a possibility that the top of this trend line here, which happens to be my support, my resistance, this top one that happens to be my resistance, might be tested again. If it does get tested, if it doesn't get broken, then we can start looking towards ourselves. But if it doesn't even get up there and this trend line here gets broken, I'm going to confirm my sell, and I will be selling. I'll be selling towards somewhere here. So I'll be looking at around 7,700 thereabouts, 7,800 thereabouts. If the price of Bitcoin falls below this 8,250 price range, But let me show you how I came to that conclusion. So let's go to one of this. So like I said, the first thing I do, let me take this off and put that there while recording earlier. So the first thing I do is I take my charts all the way back to the 1 month time frame, because usually what I want is to be able to see everything that has sort of happened to this pair. So if I want to mark a pair for the very first time, am I recording? Yeah. If I want to mark a pair for the very first time, what I do is this. I take it all the way back to the 1 month, and from there I start to mark my charts. I also use additional tools like this pivots. I use all these indicators. Pivots high low, that's my setting right there. Exponential moving average 8 close is my setting. The moving average 18 close is my setting. Aside that, I have, let's see, that's I think TradingView is actually acting up a little bit, because it should bring out all indicators. But these are my indicators. Aside those that I mentioned, I use Awesomeness Oscillator, I use the MACD, I use the momentum, I use the stochastic RSI, and I use the volume. So let's mark Bitcoin. So I drag my trend line right here from the previous, using pivot high low, from the previous pivot low point to the next pivot low point. I draw a trend line. Okay. All right. So that's the first thing. Also, ideally I would have picked another trend line from here, but that's so far off. So this white line that I've drawn here is going to serve as my support, but that's on a monthly time frame. Monthly time frame is so far away. I'm just trying to get a perspective of what's going on. Another thing I'm going to do is bring out my Fibonacci from my previous high point to the low point. I bring my Fibonacci to see how far this thing retreats. So when price came all the way down from 19,666 in December 2017 to 3,122 in December 2018. So in 1 year, price went from almost 20,000 to 3,000 between December of 2017 and December of 2018. So pretty much the whole of 2018, the price of Bitcoin was nose diving. All right, let's see something else. And where did it retrace to? To 0.618. That is what's called the golden ratio. If you guys know about Fibonacci, Fibonacci applies generally in a whole lot of things. I've said this over and over and over again. If you don't know about it, this is not a training class. This is just more of me kind of giving you exposure to how easy these things could be. So it retraced up to 0.618. Now, the next thing I'm going to do, remember, I'm still on a monthly time frame. I'm trying to get an overview. I bring the same Fibonacci. I draw it up here to try and get a bull to see, okay, when it went there, it's going to come down at some point. At some point, it comes out. Where did it come to? Let's zoom this out. The around 0.618, and then now it's going back. Now it's going back. Okay, cool. So I've gotten that from my monthly time frame. Let's go to daily. So I already know that price came here in between December of 2018 to June 2019. What did price do? It came up, and then in December it came down. It completed a cycle. So you might compared to last year, compared to 2018 where it went down the entire year, for the whole year it went down. If at this point, right, at the beginning of 2019, if you bought Bitcoin at the beginning of 2019 and you held it, by now you will still be in good profits, because the price of Bitcoin, even though it went to almost $14,000 in June of last year, it was still around $8,000. So you would still have made, I mean, this is about 5,000 profit, even if you just kept it till now. But if you kept it, I believe that Bitcoin is probably gonna go up. But who knows? None of us make this market, like I said. So let's go to the weekly time frame. Now we'll start to get a better perspective of what the market is doing. Okay, so good. I bring out my trend line. Remember, we had done what I consider our support, this white line right here, and it was done on a monthly time frame. Now, another thing is I label these trend lines, but I'm not right now. That's not what we're doing right now. So remember, the trend line comes from the previous high using the pivot points. So this is the pivot high right here. This is the next pivot high right here. So I draw that. On a weekly time frame, this is going to show what I consider my resistance. So if this gets broken upwards, then I'm going to be in a buy. But that's not the only thing I'm going to look at for this buy or sell. These are just how I mark it up. So I bring out my fib retracement. I go from my pivot low to my pivot high right here. Remember I talked about the Fibonacci ratio. When it went all the way up here, where did it come to? 0.618. This, let me draw a line so you guys can see. 0.618 right here. No, come on, so what are you doing? That's where it came to, right? And then, so to me, that's showing bullish, because it respects the 0.618, the golden ratio. I'm just gonna be in a, okay, well, it's probably gonna come test this trend line. If that would be the case, if this yellow line that I drew doesn't get broken, if I'm gonna enter this trade, how will I enter this trade? It's gonna be, let's say the price is within this channel right here. If I'm gonna enter this trade, bring out my Fibonacci from this point here to the lowest it came around there, I will be looking towards a buy up to around $11,000 if it's gonna go up. But I can't tell any of that now. So what I want to do is to continue marking my charts. And of course, you guys already know Bitcoin is of particular interest to a lot of people. So I will still keep my line for the bull from my previous low to the next high point. So let me make sure this my line here is as accurate as possible. So let's go to settings 7231. I'm telling you, TradingView needs to update some things. They're not making our settings is not working, all these little things are not working. They did an upgrade yesterday, so maybe that's what's affecting this thing. So let me try to put the line as close as possible in this case then. 7231, that's 730. So let me break it down. Okay, 7251, that's pretty close. So if this line gets broken, if this line here gets broken, if it gets broken, I'll be looking at, this is my trend line. Because it's not yet broken, I'm looking at a possibility of price coming up a little bit before down. But how high up might it go? How far down would it go? Let's find out. Let's find out. Let's find out. So remember, we're still in the weekly time frame. I would go to daily. We're trying to gather, all this I'm doing right now is just to gather as much information about what the market is doing. Okay, so right here, we're on a daily perspective. Bring up my trend line again from the previous high that I see. Okay, looking good. So right there, that used to be, if you watch this line, this acted as a good resistance for the price of Bitcoin up until 14th of January this year. And then it broke that trend line, broke it, and then came back to retest it. Came back to retest it. If I will be, so if this line here, this line here, this white line that you guys can see, if for an example that gets broken downward, we'll be looking at the next zone that, okay, maybe price want to come and test this golden ratio, right? That's how you follow what the market does. You don't, it's not by your own rule, like I said, it's according to what the market presents to you that you do your forecast. So because of that, this line has not yet been broken. I'm not going to confirm my sell yet. Let me take it back to that weekly to see something else. So on the weekly, if you look at the weekly now, what do you think I want to do in this case now? I want to see, okay, if this is saying it won't be broken, if this for whatever reason doesn't get broken, how far up do I think we might want to go, or how far up would I want to take my own profit? Based on what I know so far, here's what I would do. From the previous high to this line, bring my Fibonacci, right? This is on a weekly. I'm trying to see how far this thing might want to go. Then I draw some sort of, I mark some sort of zone, right? Where's a possible, where I expect a possible reaction. So the golden ratio, if you look at this, 0.618 is the golden ratio, is 11,032. So around $11,032 is where I expect the price to get to if we're looking in a bullish direction. Okay, so well, who knows? Who knows? 11,032. All right, there it is. So I put a little I mark a little zone around there. I mark a little zone around there. Okay, so and for this to be executed, it's gonna take it might take a minute. So if this is gonna go up, I'm expecting somewhere around here, but we can't tell yet. So remember, I was in a day. I marked that from a day, you know. So this, if this line does not get broken, I'm looking at a possible target all the way up here. But let's see. So I go to 4 hours. So 4 hours is where I actually perform my magic. Whatever trading, whatever full setup, whatever conclusion I'm going to get to, I do it around 4-hour time frame and the 1 hour. I'm not like I'm not how do I put it? It's not like I read the minds of the major investors or something to be able to be forecasting for 1 month and all that. But on here, remember we're using our pivot high and our pivot low. We already marked this place to be our support until that gets broken before we start looking at sell. But let's now see if it's looking like it will break it or not. So we're in the 4-hour time frame. Let me delete this again. The first thing we do, we pick your trend line, go to the previous high, to the next high that you see. Good. So I have this trend line here on a 4-hour time frame. So on a 4-hour time frame, even though I'm expecting a sort of bullish reaction, not until this my white line that I've drawn is broken before I then start looking at, oh, okay, let's now be looking at maybe it's planning to, it's getting ready for this my up journey. But you never can tell just yet. You can't tell just yet. Okay, so see, boom, 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 boom. So that's the trend line right there. I then bring out my Fibonacci again. Bring out my Fibonacci. Because this has not broken this white line, we're still kind of like, okay, it might be a sell bias. My fibs from here, from the low point down here to the high points right here. So if I'm going to get in this trade right now, I'll be looking at somewhat, okay, if this line does not get broken to confirm my bull, if this support right gets broken to I'm made resistant, where is the first place I'm looking at to take my profit? Around the golden ratio. So I'll mark 7,000 for the 5 to be my next target if this place gets broken. So, and it looks like that's what we might see. So my trade will be looking something like this. So what I'll be watching will look something like this. Before we conclude, I already know what I'm doing with this pair. I already know what I'm doing with this pair. But before then, let's go to 1 hour and not just jump into conclusion and see exactly in 1 hour what's happening. Remember, this is where I said my potential first target is going to be if this two gets broken. If this white line remains a resistance, if this support gets broken downwards, we're looking at here, right? So based on my own rule, I bring out my trend line right here, my previous low to the next low, okay? My previous low to the next low, right, great. So these are what I will be looking at. When this white line gets broken, I'll be expecting it to target this support right here. So this will be my first support. Let me make it a dotted line. Let me make that. Let me do it somewhat like this. Okay. So I guess it will make some more sense like that. I don't like such line. I prefer this line. Good. So if this gets broken downward, this is our target right here. So let me make all that green and white. So actually, I'm going to redraw this trend line because Fona presents to me a much more so I'll make that particular one solid. I'll make it green. Then this also I'm going to I'm going to draw it again because the 1 hour time frame presents to me. I mean, the more you do these things, the better you would get. Okay. So if this gets broken, I'll be looking around here and ready. All right. So if this gets broken, I'll be looking at somewhere here. If this line gets broken, my ultimate target is just around there. So that's kind of like what I see for Bitcoin. Another way you can remember, this is what we're waiting for. Because I am in a general sell bias, I'm waiting for this to be broken. Let me tell you why I think so. Bring out your Fibonacci again. Let's check a few things. From this previous high point to this low point, where did price get to? 0.618. That firstly confirms a sell, a downtrend. From here, okay, now let me show you one more thing. So when it was going up, right, price came from here to this place to retrace for the downtrend, right? Did price break this 0.618 here? Let me put a line. The golden ratio, did price break this? Yes, it did. Price broke this, came back up, couldn't break it, confirmed it, and it's coming back down. Let's make this big. Actually, if you want to see clearly, let's go to 15 minutes. If you want to see clearly, let's go to 15 minutes. So in 15 minutes, you see, price came from down here, up here, got to this golden ratio, and what did price do? It broke it down. When it broke it, it tried, it came back up. It couldn't really broke it. It came back down. It retested it, and then now. So it looks to me that it's finding it hard to now break this new resistance it has found in the 15 minutes. So I know already that because it couldn't break it, it's going to come down. But before I start to sell, I'll be looking at somewhere here. How far down might this thing go? How far down do you think it's possibly going to go? Let's see. I go by Fibonacci, right? Let's see. How far down can this thing go? I'm going to take this line off so I can kind of like draw a zone right there. Let me just take the line off so I can draw a zone around where price it is. Gonna find it hard. The more you do this thing, the better you get. I don't plan to keep anyone on here for so long, so okay, so I have a zone right there. It's gonna act as my support, as my resistance rather. Good. So how far do I think you might want to go? Bring up my fibs from this high right here to this low. That's when it came, right? And then retrace to almost the 600. How far is it gonna go? How far is it gonna go? Boom, high to the low to the most recent high, and it's saying it should come down to at least somewhere here. So we have a potential target here. We have a potential target right here. Okay. So let me do one more thing. I draw my zone around here because this is 15 minutes time frame, so it's gonna be broken pretty soon. 7, yeah. So that's my potential first target right there, around 8,000, around 7,950 is where I think Bitcoin will come to if this my dotted white line is broken and then this green line gets broken. So that's pretty easy to conclude on. Okay. So now let me show you some more indicators that I use. I'll take it back to 1 hour. Let's take it back to 1 hour. So in 1 hour time frame, this gets broken. I think I'm just gonna be in a sell naturally, right? Because I already think that's just gonna be the case. Yeah, and so my setup would look something like this. If I don't enter this trade right now, let's say I just want to blindly enter this trade right now. My setup will look something like this. My setup will look something like this. I drag to like 7 points. So yep. So this is going to be like my trade setup if I want to get in this trade like right now. But of course, it doesn't always execute perfectly sometimes. So you want to watch this thing a little bit. So this is going to be my Bitcoin analysis. This is going to be what I think for Bitcoin. Certain things we're going to be watching. If this line is broken, okay. If this line and this line right here. Let's go to the one I marked. So this is the finished. Let's go to the one I marked in class. See this green line, this line, this resistance right there. That's it right here. Okay. And then I have this other green line that's going to act as my support to confirm that this thing is going to be that bearish or bullish. And that's the dotted white line right here. So this gives me a really, really good perspective. And like I said, if you can be consistent in your trading strategy, you will lose some. In fact, you will lose a lot. But your gains all the time would compensate for whatever you lost. And if you especially can wait for your confirmation, I think you'll be making really, really good profit. So my stop loss is going to be around here. Stop loss is going to be around 8,500, about $200 pips, and I'm targeting 7,900 as my first target. So that's about almost 400. So that's a 1-to-2 risk to reward ratio, and that's not bad. If it comes in and it breaks it, you can trail it up until. So this, I'm going to post this my idea right now on TradingView, and I want to believe this thing is recording. So I'm gonna post this also on YouTube for you guys to watch it again. This is, remember what I use? I use pivot high low to mark my. I use that to do my Fibonacci. I use that to do my trend line. I use the exponential moving average and the moving average to know what trend we're in. This is how I use that. Let me zoom into this candles actually, so you guys, you see this line right here. Right now, it's showing me that the green is above the red. Usually, when the green is above the red, that just generally shows like, oh, it's bullish. But it's just crossed, and the reason why it's like that is because it's here. Before I can say, oh, maybe it's bullish, I want to wait for it to cross this thing back. Let me do one more thing. All right. So if it's gonna come, if it breaks this right here, what zone do I think it might want to get to? I'll be looking to buy this bad boy up until, like, if it's that, if that's what it's trying to do, you know. Okay. So these are all the scenarios that I see for Bitcoin. If 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 Bitcoin breaks this right here, I'll be looking at a possible coming here, especially if it breaks this green line. But most likely, I have a feeling it's not gonna break it. I have a feeling it's probably gonna break this white line and then confirm to us that it wants to go down some more. And especially because of how big this drop is, we're gonna have some consolidation for a little while, and then we'll get our drop. But I think we're gonna get a drop. I think a drop is what it is gonna be, you know. So, and that's because every week week in, week out, me, I trade. I'm always trading. I trade Bitcoin on weekends. So yeah, exciting stuff. Let me show you a few other things that I use. I use Awesome Oscillator. An Awesome Oscillator is saying to me that, dude, there's some bullish action. You see, it's green. Usually I want to wait now. I want to wait for this green to be done and then give me a bigger red candle. A red candle like this side, because this is the previous side. So that's Awesome Oscillator. So that's why I'm not going to get in the trade. That's why I'm waiting for my confirmations. This is part of my confirmation. The Awesome Oscillator is part of my confirmation. I check my MACD. For my MACD, it looks like it's bullish too. So I'm not going to get in that sell yet. You see, there's a big, the green green candle is forming, going up. This blue is above the red, showing me bullish. Also, if we check, this is my moving average, the green. So it's still showing a little bit. It's showing some bull action, right? And you don't want to get in a trade for a sell when it's looking bullish, even though you have a sell or a bear sentiment. So that's the MACD. That's what the MACD told me. Let's check the momentum. Momentum is kind of looking like, oh, it wants to go up. It's coming down, right? Let's see. Now, aside momentum, I use my stochastic RSI. Okay, so stochastic for me, looking at the stochastic RSI is looking at, okay, it's getting close to being overbought. You know, when it gets overbought, then people start to sell. And the only way I use this, that's what my mentor actually told me. You know, when it crosses this here, then when it's gonna cross at some point, this two line will cross. When it crosses and then it's pointing down, then it's looking like it's ready for the sell. Right now, to me, it's not ready for the sell, even though I think it is going to drop. So we wait. Waiting is the game. So that's what MACD is saying to me. MACD is showing me that, okay, we're gonna be ready for a sell pretty soon. As you can see, it's dropping. You see this red candle. Then the last, I'll just check the volume to see, okay. For the volume, you see that sellers are getting in. See the last candle right there, down there, is red. Sellers are getting in. So wait. You wait for your confirmations and get in your trade. So I have a sell bias with this. I have a sell bias with this. But we're gonna wait. We're still waiting. We're still waiting. We're waiting. So let me check other kind of candles. So if you check this Akin-Ashi candle, right? This is the red candles are the sell. The blue looking green is like the buy. So you can tell here that it's still bull. It's still looking green, like it wants to go up, but sellers are already pushing it down on this on this particular resistance. So it's having a slightly hard time. So they're pushing it down. If they succeed, then we'll look at the buyers giving up and the sellers selling up until here. They fight a little bit. If they lose the fight, we'll ultimately get to where our target is temporarily before we target further down. Okay, so it can actually kind of also shows me that it's still looking biased, but of course sellers are trying to get in. Let's see Renko. Renko already shows that sellers, it's already down. You see from that particular, from this first resistance, you see, boom, it's already broken this. So Renko already shows me that we're in a good sell, but it's worth it waiting for all other confirmations. One thing you might want to do again is you can check 15-minute time frame and see if you're gonna get something from there. And if we do, let's see what we get from 15-minute time frame. So on a 15-minute time frame, you see it's reacting to this. It's finding it hard. You see, came there, couldn't break it, came back, couldn't break it, came back. So if it breaks it finally, then boom. If it doesn't, then. So yeah, from 15-minute time frame, I would look in a sell direction even more. Let me draw one more trend line and see. This is my 15-minute trend line. So 15-minute trend line is looking like, okay, not bad. I'm going to take all that off. I don't want it. All right. Yeah, we might be good for ourselves. I think pretty soon it's gonna break. Pretty soon it's gonna break this that my dotted white line, and we will be good to go. Let me take it back to 1 hour. Take it back to 1 hour. See what the chart is like generally. Okay. Okay, so good. And that concludes my setup. That concludes my analysis. I can put a little bit of a timeline on that stuff. And okay. Yeah. Oxfam oscillator shows me my red right here, which might be a good thing. My MACD already showed. Let me make this MACD. See, my MACD, the buy power is dropping and dropping. This is gonna cross pretty soon, and it crosses. That looks good for my sell. So meanwhile, I'm on 15 minutes. The momentum is pointing down. Good sell. My stochastic RSI, good sell. And the volume sells. So from 15 minutes, I have a better confirmation that we are ready for sell. But I don't think most Bitcoin investors like trade on a 15 minutes. So I'll stick to 1 hour just to be safe. And this is what I see for 1 hour. So let me post this right now. Okay. All right. If anyone has got questions, just reach out to me personally. If there's something you don't understand, I'll try to be making more classes so that we can all be in tune, really. So let's publish this. Bitcoin trade setup. Bitcoin trade setup. So $7,900. So you can. So I would like the dotted white. I would like the white trend lines to be broken, and yep, that's what I see. That is what I see. That is what I see. So let's publish this. Although I'm waiting for a few confirmations before getting into the sell. My buyers is that price will drop to around 7,900 on a short-term basis. So 7,900 on a short-term basis. You know, so let's, let's publish. Let's publish. So we're going on a short. Uh, Let me put my price target there actually. Let me put my target to be like 7 thereabout. Okay. All right. So short. Let's link this to my previous ideas. This is my first idea for today. I'm gonna leave it the way it is for now. Yeah. So trend analysis, a money pattern. Yes. Okay. So I tag this BTC Bitcoin, Bitcoin forecasts. And I use this hashtag almost everywhere. So I wanna some people to find me using that. So let's see the Niger traders, Niger, Niger, Niger pro traders, Niger market. All right, so we have enough tags. I share on Twitter also, and I publish my public ID. So feel free if you're on TradingView to follow, to like, to join, to comment, to share. And if you're on Twitter, also feel free. This is my TradingView page. have 815 repetition. I've posted now 74 ideas. For whatever reason, my internet is not our friend today. 74 ideas. I have 19 followers. I just posted this right now, the Bitcoin trade setup. I posted GU the other day, AJ, Bitcoin, South African Rand, GU, Bitcoin. I've been trying to target this 7,500 for a little while. You see, USDCHF. I mean, you can just go through and see how my predictions have been in a short while. But yeah, that's the latest. This is what we're looking at, and that's Bitcoin right there. Let me know if you guys have any issue. Okay, so because we're here right now, let me just quickly show you. Let me show you some of the things I marked up already. You know what? I'm gonna take a screenshot. I'm gonna take a quick screenshot of this. Let me take a screenshot of this. Let me put it in the comments. And put it in the comments. Another outlook. Okay, so post them. All right, so let me show you. Let me show you. So this is my GU forecast. Also for GU, I am looking at a sell, but I'm not gonna consider a sell until this right here is broken, and then I can sell. So I have this rule of 20 pips. So when I get to my zone where I've been waiting for, like in this case, I've been waiting for this zone. When it crosses it, I want to get 20 pips first. I get 20 pips, I lock it up, I secure my profit. Boom, 20 pips secured for this my trouble. And I trade a standard lot size, which is 1.0. So 1.0, 20 pips, boom, $200, easy. So that's what I'm looking at for GU. I've also marked USDCAD. For USDCAD, I think it's gonna retrace up until this golden ratio right here. Right here, that's where it's probably gonna come, especially if, let me show you. Let me show you one other thing I see for this. You see, it's already moved to the 0.618. So if it doesn't break there, which I think it wouldn't, I don't know, man. I think someone needs to suggest to me better trading. Where to? I don't really like MT4 is too serious. I like some relaxed this thing. So let's look at this spot right here. This right here. Just this. You see, it has gotten to the 0.618, and you can see that drop, those long wicks. I mean, if you look at a candle, they tell a story. They always tell a story. You can pretty much tell the journey that the candlestick really moved looking at the journey. So let me just see if I just want to get in this trade, it will be like this. This is where I'll be targeting. I'll be targeting that it will break this thing. I'll be looking at a possible target of around here, around this place. So if it doesn't get to exactly my 0.618, I'll be looking at somewhere around there. So if I'm going to take this trade right now, this trade will be looking somewhat like this. Where's my shot? This trade will be looking somewhat like this. I'm going to take this trade. But, I have other confirmations that I check, and today is not even about this. Today is about Bitcoin. So I'll be looking at put it above, just a little above that. I'll be looking at So, but that kind of tells me that it's gonna get to this trend line if it doesn't even break it, you know. So that would be kind of like what I see for USD CAD. But generally, I would just like to wait and just see what it's gonna do because none of us created this market. So my trade setup for USD CAD will be looking somewhat like this, somewhat like this. Excuse me. So I think that concludes today's training. And if you enjoyed it, thank you. If you did not, well, I hope I'm able to give you some clarity next time. Thank you so much, guys, for joining, and I'm gonna catch you later.